Hi, everyone. So my name is Tatiana Kurzner, and I will be speaking English. If anybody wants to ask me anything, I will reply in Russian if I need to answer. So, but I hope everyone is here. My experience is in data analytics. I work with SQL for many, many years every day. So I like building databases and I like querying databases. So today I will show you my thinking process. Actually, together we'll be brainstorming how to build a database from scratch. So please be ready to talk. You don't have to show your face, but if you can say something would be nice. So you can also use chat. So whenever I try to build a database, I use Excel as a tool where I put all of my thoughts about a specific project. So let me share my screen and we'll be looking at Excel right now. I want all of you guys to think about real estate. I don't know if you guys landlords or maybe you have your own house, it doesn't matter, but you all guys live somewhere. So think about buildings, think about apartments, think about appliances, think about people who come to repair, do service in your buildings. Anything you can think of, tell me so that I could put it in a structure, because real estate is a combination of a lot of things. It's buildings, it's apartments, it's people, tenants, right? So which table do you want to start with? You guys can talk if you want. Otherwise, I'll be talking to myself. Okay, let's talk about buildings, right? What do we have in buildings? We have a building ID, right? What's important is to have an ID. So each table that we have has a primary key, which is important for that particular table. This is a principle of relational database. There is a primary key in every table. So building has an ID, and then we have some kind of address, right? Let's say, and with address, it comes city, zip, and so on, right? I'm not going to type it all, but you understand what goes with address. What else do we need for real estate besides the building? Floors, amount of floors. Yeah, that's a good one. A partner, owners. Let's say, okay, the reason why I don't want to do owners, it's because let's say I'm the owner, okay? And this is my database, so I don't have to. However, you're correct. If I am a management company, I would need an owners table. You're right, okay? Let's put owners in there. I haven't thought of that one. Great. Owner table, right? Because each building belongs to an owner. Apartment. Okay, an apartment, you know, in real estate, we don't talk about apartments, we talk about units, okay? Let's say a unit, and it would have unit ID, right? An ID. Okay, what else? Owner ID. And for the owner, we would have first and last name, right? I mean, what else? Residents. Residents, well, we call them tenants, right? Okay, and the tenants table has its own primary ID. What else is there?
How about phone number for the owner?
Owner, of course, it's we would, you know what? They also live somewhere, right? And it would be an address, and it will be a phone number and all that information. This goes without saying, you know, that everything is zip code, city, and so forth. Type of buildings. Okay, so this is a good one. So now we're getting into specifics, which is important for relational database, because relational database has a lot of tables, right? A lot of tables. So for example, types of buildings, and you're correct, because types of buildings are single family homes, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, right? What else? multiple units. So all of these tables will have another type of tables called type. Therefore, I'm going to insert another column here and call another table building type. I hate typing because I have a neurological issue, so it's hard for me to type, but building type. Now, unit will have a unit type. So again, we're going to have an ID. Oh, wow, people are still joining. Okay. So building type. By the way, I need to add some kind of records. Let's call it Jane Doe, right? Or whatever, Jane Smith. This is a record for the owner table. For the building, we have an address. The address would be 100 Fell Street, for example. A building type, we already talked about building type, right? Building type would be single family home or duplex, triplex, and so forth. Units, what kind of units can it be? Studio, right? Studio, 1 bedroom, and so forth, 2 bedroom. What else do we need to know about real estate? And tenant is John Smith. Anything else? So I think I covered everything you wrote here. We focus only on residential. No, we're focusing on everything. This is a real estate. We're focusing on everything. Anything that has to be done in multiple units, single family homes, basically same thing is needed. Things get broken. What gets broken in the house? All right, how about commercial buildings? Yes, commercial buildings are called, they're going to be here, multiple units, multiple. Doesn't matter, this database will cover multiple units too. Commercial building. Commercial, it's a building type. Okay, we can say commercial, I don't know. Maintenance, thank you, maintenance. So the maintenance would be some kind of service or repair table. We're gonna have a service table and we're gonna have a service type, and service type could be some kind of repairs, right? So all of these tables will have IDs. And who's doing the maintenance? People do the maintenance. So the people who do the maintenance, right? So they are, I don't even know, repair people, service people, handyman. Well, I cannot call my table handyman. Service person. Anyway, I thought of it yesterday, so I spent a little time. I will show you my database later. But I'm just, the reason why we're brainstorming right now, so you guys know, you think yourself about this project and you think how many components are in this database. So we split every single information into pieces so that we create a truly relational database with primary keys. And that's why for every little table, there is a table called type. There's a handyman, and handyman service person also. We could have a service person type because we have electricians, we have plumbers, right? Who else? So we have painters. So anyway, we can go as detailed as we want and so forth. Yes, roofing, absolutely. So service type, I guess it's plumbing, electricians, and roofing. Okay. So anyway, landscape at excellent landscape. Let me just copy and paste. Okay. Okay, HVAC, great. Anything else? So these are people. So again, it would be you know, first and last name, because anything has to do with people, this is people. Same information for people. Tenant, same information for tenant. Okay, service person type. I mean, the electrician, or we can split it into even more tables if we want, but I don't know if we should go there right now. So anyway, here are your tables, right? And what we need to know how these tables are all related, right? So I thought of it beforehand. Same thing as we just did, only in more details, so that we could actually see the tables. Let me show you what I came up with. Basically, this is what you already guys have seen, because this is what we thought through, except we didn't mention anything about appliances, because each unit has some kind of appliances. And we also didn't think about payments. Let's go over all of these tables in more details. By the way, the only table I don't have that you have is the owner table, because I assume this is for one owner. But if it was a management company, they would need an owner table. Okay, so building table. Building table will have a building ID. We'll have a building type ID, because we have a building type table here. Building type, single family home, duplex, triplex, fourplex, multifamily, ADU. It's like additional unit. Buildings have an address, city, state, zip, and also price per month, right? Yeah, that's a great idea. I would put it here. It's a term. I would call it a term. It's actually, this is this for the, yeah, I would put a term, for how long it's rented. The renting term could be 1 month, month per month, or it could be a yearly. So potentially it could be another table in the relational database, which is called a renting term. And there are so many different scenarios. You can you can rent by, maybe even by days, I don't know, days, month, years, or month to month. So yeah, we're not gonna do that because it's gets too many tables, okay? So look at this structure right now. There are no links yet, but I'm gonna go over each table and you will see how they are all related later. So building has a building ID, building type ID. Building type is right here. Single family home, duplex, triplex, fourplex, and so forth. There is a unit ID and unit type ID. Unit type ID, we can have a studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and so forth. Then we have an address, city, state, zip, price per month, and term. Building type, I just mentioned. Unit type, it's pretty clear. Now we have tenants. Tenants is a tenant ID. There is also tenant type ID. Tenant type ID. I need to have a tenant type ID here, right? Because it's all about tenants here. So anyway, what we're doing right now, we are adding foreign keys. So the first, all of this are primary keys. Let's make them yellow, because primary keys are yellow and foreign keys, let's make them another color. So tenants also have first name, last name. Oh, I put term in here. I didn't put term in. Okay, so I thought of term. And this is rent amount. Let me think if I want rent in my tenants table or I want it in building table. You know what? I think it's a tenant. If you think about it, I negotiate the rental terms with each tenant, not with the unit. So I think the term and amount should be in tenant table. Am I right? Please correct me if I'm not right. Yeah, time from, time to. I mean, yes, technically we can have rental term table, and that table would have start date, end date, time from, or time to, and so forth. Absolutely, I think you're right. We can go. I just don't want to create more tables, but you're right. We can go there and create more tables. Okay, so tenant type. So tenants could be different. They could be, I don't know, I just wrote that they are general and they can come from some sort of government programs, right? And it's a tenant that has relationship with the government and government pays for that apartment. Could be some other relationships, I don't know. That's why I thought of tenant type. Appliances. So each unit has an appliances and each appliances has an appliance ID. Appliance type ID. What do I mean by appliance type? It's a refrigerator, stove with oven, maybe stove without oven, microwave, window, door, floor, plumbing. For right now, I put it all in appliances. It's possible that it's not the best place. Appliances is not like, I don't know, floor is not really an appliance, but I couldn't think of another name. That's why I put it all under appliance right now. So there should be a better name for it. But technically, if you think about it, it doesn't matter what it is. It's still some kind of thing that gets broken, needs to be repaired or replaced or installed, right? Yes, and also, yeah, there needs to be another field if availability, if it's available or not. We should keep it here, right? If it's available, right? Availability. Thank you. I haven't thought about it yet because this is good. I made a mistake, but that's okay. So appliances. Are we good with appliances here? I just put some random things we need to insert in the table later on. So, all right, we're okay with appliance type. Moving on to service person. So service people are people who are do installation, repairs, all sorts of service types right here in this table. It could be installation, repair, replacement, installing, painting, cleaning. So I don't think it's possible to think through like in 1 hour. I spent an hour and a half yesterday thinking it through, and still see I haven't thought of it well enough. So I just want you guys to understand the process of how you would start from scratch thinking about a project. You need to build a database. So here we go. This is how you think. So payment type, right? So each tenant pays, hopefully, for the unit, and method of payment could be cash, money order, check, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, direct deposit, credit card. Thank you. Right, credit card. Also, there is, I think this is it in terms of, we can stop here and think about now our transactions. And I thought about it, and it's really, there are two types of transactions going on between tenants and landlords, let's say, right? there is some kind of repair transaction going on and some kind of payment going on, right? It's payment for the apartment and service transaction. So that's why I have two tables here, which is a rental transaction and service transaction. Obviously, they have building ID, unit ID, tenant ID, payment ID, because this is all related to tenants. And everything that relates to service is service, transaction ID, building ID, unit ID, service person ID, and appliance ID, because it's kind of related to an appliance oftentimes, right? So now we have all of this tables, fee amount. Yeah, you want to put it as a payment type here, like a fee? Well, it's possible, right? Let's say there's a fee. Okay. Now we need to, what do we need to do? We need to find how these tables are related. What do we need to do? Let's use Excel insert, and we're going to use a shape, which is just a line, and try to relate building to building type. So we're going to relate it by a building type ID, like this. Okay, and unit type ID would be related like this. Unit type ID would be related like this. I think at this, the best would be rearrange the tables, but I'm afraid if I rearrange it, it would take too long because there are too many tables. So bear with me. As long as there is a link, you could see how it's all related, okay? Let's do tenant ID. Where's tenant ID? Tenant type ID. Okay. Let me just copy and paste. I don't want to, takes too long. Okay. Tenant ID, tenant type ID. Okay. Appliance type ID. You guys help me out if I miss something. Okay. Service person ID to service. I think I missed the service type ID here. It's possible that I need a service type ID. Anyway, hold on one second. I'm not sure about this yet. Okay, so I need to obviously join building ID with all these building IDs right here. This would look horrible. So help me out, guys. What did I miss? I have a problem with the service type because payment type ID is not linked to anything right now. Just one second. Okay, so I think our transaction tables are all okay because we have all of the IDs here. So our job right now is to relate all tables with each other. All right, so these tables are all okay. Tenant ID, it's okay. Appliance ID, okay. So I think with service, so service type and I think there's got to be a service type here. I think it's like that. I think this way we can do a relationship. Okay, so I didn't want it to create a complicated database, but that's what it is. It became too complicated right now. I shouldn't have done it that big. Okay, so anyway, you see that they're all kind of related with each other, right? As long as all the tables are related, and building ID obviously is related to building ID. Payment type ID is related to service transaction, payment type ID. Oh, there's also a marketing agency. It's how the person got found out about the apartment. So there is also an marketing agency ID, obviously. And you know what? I think we can relate it to what? To building. Each building relates to the marketing agency, or each unit, or each tenant. I think it's the tenant that we need to, right? I think the tenant came from an agency. That's why the tenant should be here. It should be like this. Correct me if I'm wrong, because see, this is the decisions you need to make. You need to think of all of these things in order to kind of join tables with each other, because otherwise it's not going to be truly relational. So, okay, do you have any questions about this? You know how to join building ID with the first table, unit ID also with the first table, service person ID, payment type ID, it's related to the payment. It's like this, right? So this would be joined with this. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? Because we're going to move on to the SQL part. Agency equals office. You know, honestly, I thought of Facebook, apartments.com, Craigslist, or some real estate office. I'm not sure, you know, how people find tenants these days. So it could be many different channels. Okay, it's like a marketing channel. Okay. So as you can see, there are three types of tables. One table that has information about, just informational. Another one is just the type, table that has the type. And the third one is a transactional table. So I hope you guys noticed. So this would be example of one type of table. This would be an example of a second type of table. And this is example of a third type of table. Okay, I hope it's clear, because when you build a relational database, you would have all three types. I don't see any more questions, so I think we can now go to the SQL part. And I want to warn you guys, I don't think I was pretty optimistic to build a whole database in 1 hour. Yeah, I don't think it's reasonable. So whatever we can, we'll build, okay? All right, we're going to MySQL right now. And let's start. I hope everyone can see my screen. This is MySQL Workbench. It's a free database. Anybody can install it for free. And let's create a database called real estate. If we had it, we could drop it, but we don't have it. So we could just type a create database called real estate. I just ran it by clicking on this little yellow thing. So it's called run, okay? Let's see if we have it. Let me refresh. On the left, you will have all of your databases. And as you can see, here it is, it's RE. It doesn't have anything because we just created the database. There are no tables yet in that database, okay? So Now what we need to do is create our very first table. And just to save time, I did try to create the first table. I don't have any other listed, just one. Okay, and this is all we thought through. Maybe we've added something. I don't know if we did. Let me check. We've added one thing, which is called availability. So let me add availability, and it's yes or no. Okay, and availability, it's a yes or no. You know, I like in database terms, I don't like doing yes or no. I like 1 and 0. It's let's say yes would be 1 and no would be 0. It's much easier to do all sorts of calculations, like for example, use functions like sum. If you need to sum how many apartments you have available, you just sum availability field and you have the number. So for that purpose, I would create it as a number, and we don't need number 10. We could have number, I don't know, I think it's number 1, but let's see. True or false? Yes, we could do true or false. Absolutely, absolutely. But again, I'm thinking every time I'm creating a database, I'm thinking about my further statistics, how I would use it. Okay. And for my purposes, because I'm planning to use statistics on it, I would like to use it in calculations. So zeros and ones are much easier to use. However, you are absolutely right, true and false. Then we shouldn't call it availability, we should call it available. And true would be yes, and not true would be no. So anyway, there are many scenarios here. It's not really, guys, not important right now, okay? So let's try to run it and see if we can create this table. Okay, so I'm clicking on this execute button. See, right here. And what do we have? So we have an arrow, which is, let's read the arrow. Arrow at line 2. Okay. Let's see where the arrow is. Can anybody spot the arrow? I don't see check manual. Okay. Line 8. I don't see anything here. That's the problem. I don't see.
The number is underscored with red. This is the error.
Yeah, I know, but I don't see anything. It's not valid at this position. Oh, I didn't want to do auto increment here, but what type should it be? I thought number would work. I don't know why number doesn't work. Integer. How about integer? And I think any ID is an integer, I think. See, I forgot this part. Let's try it. You have an error. Okay.
It's one more integer int on row 16, 18, and 19.
A phone number.
Same
Let me,
issue.
you know what? You know what? Let me do this, the small. So this is what I recommend for everyone to do. This is actually good that it happened, because let's see if this part works. Okay. Okay, so this part works. Okay. And We're going to be adding line by one, which is great for everyone to see. So we're going to drop table. And we're going to be testing one line by line, why one line doesn't work. Okay, so okay, mobile phone number 25. Why wouldn't it work? Any ideas?
Should be type name there, maybe
Type, but
like integer. No, just
phone number for the integer. I don't think so. Line. You know what? For the time being, I'm gonna put it a varchar. Anytime you're in doubt that something doesn't work, put a varchar and it will work. Later on, you can figure it out. And this should be an integer anyway. Because for our purposes, let's make sure it works. And it does work. Let's select star from this table. I just ran it and it worked. So there is nothing in this table because we haven't put anything in this table, right? So if we want to see the structure of this table, we do the describe the table. And let's see it. So here's the structure. Everything we just implemented is right here. And what's important to know is right now there is no primary key because I didn't include primary key. We're going to add it later on as a primary key. So let's not worry about it just yet because we need to, let's insert some rows into this table and see what's going to happen, okay? So inserting rows. So this is not correct yet because I didn't do it yet. In order for us to insert the records, we need to type insert into database name dot table name, and then in brackets, everything, every field you want to insert into. In our case, I didn't have to spell out all of the every single field because you know what, we're gonna populate every single field in here, okay? And by the way, we added availability. Okay, so let's insert records, and here, please pay attention because we are inserting values and building type ID. Let's start with a 1. Let's insert like 2 records. I don't want to insert a lot of records. So what's the second field? Building ID, building type ID. Let's pretend it's also 1. Unit ID, unit type ID. So obviously it's our first table, everything will be 1. Address, and let's say 100 Harding Street. I don't know. I'm making it up. It doesn't matter at this point. Notice that I put it in quotes because in single quotes because is a varchar. So I have to put it in quotes. Our city is San Francisco, let's say. State is California. What else is there? Zip code. I don't know. 94122, let's say. Mobile phone. Since it's a varchar, I can spell it anytime I want, any way I want. So I'm gonna do 415 dash. I can do that because it's a varchar. I can do whatever I want with this field. I don't know. 609 5533. Okay, so this is a mobile phone. Country is USA. And what else is there? Price per month. So price per month is a varchar. I really didn't want to have it. We could have it as currency, but I already created a varchar field. It's okay. This all could be changed later. There are ways to change the data type of any column and column name or whatever. Let's say the price is $3,000 and availability is 0. It's not available. It's rented. Okay, did I do it correctly? Does anybody know? Let's see. Maybe I skipped. So building ID. So let's check it. Building ID is 1. Building type ID is 1. Unit ID is 1. Unit type ID is 1. Address 100 Harding. City San Francisco. State zip. Phone number, country. Price per month, availability. Okay. Let's run it. Error code. There is a mistake somewhere. So how are we going to check? Double type for price. Price for a month. No, I think everything is fine there. So troubleshooting. So the way I would troubleshoot, I would test it my IDs first. I would do this. Because you always need to troubleshoot in SQL. It's like always the same thing. Let me insert just these rows, just the first 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and see what happens. Okay. Okay, so there's no problem with this first 4 fields. So we're going to test further. Address, city, state, zip code. Let's test up to here. Later on, we'll delete the records, don't worry. We're in the testing mode, remember? Oh, here's the arrow. Does anybody know why? No? Okay. We'll figure it out. Let's do the address. Since whenever I can't see it, I'm just doing this. And unfortunately, it's maybe boring to some. Oh my God, jeez. This is why it doesn't work. Because I didn't, first of all, I did the zip code. This is commenting out. I didn't comment out. Maybe that's why it didn't work. Unknown address field. Oh, I misspelled address. Did one of you try to point it to me? Maybe, oops. Of course. Okay, guys. This is what a mistake does to you, okay? You just have a spelling mistake and the whole thing gets ruined. Okay, so address was misspelled. Okay. There's still a type ID. Type ID. I'm not sure what you mean. But anyway, address city. Yeah.
What is message of the error is saying? Because it's only check the manual and when is going.
Just 1 second. I don't know how to make it available for everyone. I don't see the whole message, unfortunately.
You can try to move the column from the right to
very
left.
long. It's very long.
The other border. I mean, where the message is beginning, to move the column to the left. Yeah, and the border of the message column to the left. Try to do like this.
Use near at line 2. No, what does it give us, line 2? I don't know. Let me just try the old way. We'll try with a phone number and see. Okay, so phone number checks out. Okay. I'm sorry about this troubleshooting, guys. I don't know where the issue is. It's somewhere at the end. There are 3 more fields left. So maybe zeros doesn't work. I don't know. Let's try all but availability. I'm sorry about this. I wanted to insert more rows, more columns, but so the price per month is probably the issue. It's a price per month. Oh, wait, here we go. Of course, it would never work. I didn't remove the bracket. Let me try all brackets removed. Okay, finally, we inserted it. Yay! So anyway, same way we could insert more records. We just need to put the instead of a semicolon, which means commit, we can just put a comma and continue with our inserting other rows, other values. And it would be 2, 2, 2. So it's going to be like this. So I don't know if you guys can stay, but if you cannot, we only reserved an hour. Sorry about this. It took longer than I thought. So let's say 100 File Street. I'm just adding one more record. I want you guys to query the table and see that everything works and there are different records. Okay. All right. So this way we're trying to insert 2 records at the same time. And let's truncate this table, meaning deleting all the records, because we want to clean inserting 2 clean rows. Okay, let's write truncate. Oops. Misspelled the word truncate, of course. Okay, so we just truncated it, meaning that we deleted everything. And let's try to insert from scratch. Okay. Yeah, so there are duplicates and duplicate 0, warning 0. That's great. Okay, so what do we want to see? We want to see our 2 records. Let's select star from a real estate building table. Here we go. Here's our 2 records. So what we're going to do, unfortunately, we don't have time today, but the same way we create more tables. As soon as we create all of those tables, we'll create, by the way, we could create primary key right here. I would just add primary key to my table, but I didn't do it because we could do it actually later. I thought we would create all tables and then later would create all primary keys, but there are many different ways to do it. At the end, as soon as you create those tables, you populate them with the records, and then you insert primary and foreign keys, and then you join all of the tables together. That's how you would create your relational database. Ask me if you have any any questions. Any questions? If you want to see, we can continue at some other time. Continue building it, but unfortunately I didn't show you how to rename columns, how to add columns, how to drop columns. Yeah, we could alter tables and blah blah blah. Anyway, this is it. If there are no questions, thank you very much. And you can always find me, Tatiana Korzhner, on Facebook, and I will answer all of your questions. And I also do private lessons and group lessons for SQL. Ask me, and I'll help you as much as I can. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.